Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, it's pretty quiet out there, but it's not going to stay quiet for too much longer because by next week, we're going to push all the way back down into those lower 90s. And on the long-range forecast, we're looking at another hurricane, but we'll see if it wants to show up. Things are trying to get organized around Florida, but I promise you it's going to get pretty quick, pretty intense. So we're looking at the temperatures over the last 24 hours, going all the way back down into those mid-70s, so we're getting a better idea of some of those humid conditions making their way in from the south. A good run at those triple digits, topping out at 99 degrees. We'll see if we have one more in us, but by tonight, all the way back down into those mid-70s for a beautiful weekend for the last weekend of summer. But by tomorrow, still doing the KSAN desk drive, so it's going to be a busy one out there. 99 in San Angelo. Everybody else in a combination of those upper 90s, those mid 90s across the entire area. How hot is it in Robert Lee right now? 103, while we're still seeing 96 down there in Junction, 95 over there in Brady. So we're still about 7 degrees across the entire Concho Valley. But I promise you, heat advisories just north of us near Abilene, keeping our eye on those dew points and those humidity indices for any cloud cover, any indication of moisture, none whatsoever. Dew points still down there in those 50s and those 60s, while humidity indices are in those 30s across the entire Concho Valley. So a pretty dry night, but pretty standard for summer this time of the year. Now, Moisture Tracker is going to show you near Florida where they're still dealing with concentrations of orange, trying to work its way slowly eastward near the Concho Valley. And by next week, we'll see if it pushes us all the way back down into those mid-90s. Now, the upper level pattern still showing us strong low pressure systems trying to make their way across the entire nation, pushing down further and further south. By next week, here comes a pretty good sized one where we start to see some of that high pressure push all the way off towards the east. Now, all three of these factors, sunset getting earlier, the strong low pressure, and transition season are all going to weaken this high pressure, working in tandem with that circulation of tropical moisture to see if we don't push ourselves even cooler than that. Now, water vapor imagery, take a good look at this low pressure system. That's an early indication of the next system that will make its way in. While this high pressure begins to weaken, and right behind me, the organization of tropical moisture just hovering around Florida. They're going to see a couple feet of rain. Severe weather outlook, just parts of Nebraska all the way up into Minnesota. We take you down to the surface to get a better idea of those alerts. The entire western side of the United States currently has wildfires across the entire area, so they're about to see more heat with the high pressure making its way in right behind that low pressure system. But down here in the Concho Valley, I think we only have one wildfire down towards the south, but the futurecast is going to show you where that cold front is going to continue to try to make its way down from the north all weekend long. Take a good look around Minnesota, Wisconsin, makes its way down into Illinois, then parts of Missouri, then into Kansas and Oklahoma. So you see how there's a lot of fuel out there for it to work with as it makes its way down into the panhandle. And I guarantee you by Monday, we're going to see a lot more of those cooler temperatures. And by the middle of the week, as we close in on school, we'll be down near those lower 90s. So tonight, quickly all the way down into those lower 70s. But we're on the lookout for that full moon. I want good photos. Then tomorrow, a good run at those triple digits. But I promise you, it is the last hot day of the year as well as the last weekend of the summer. Now, as we get closer towards fall and the second week of August, take a good look. Here come the cooler temperatures all the way down into those lower 90s. Here comes the return of a lot of that moisture while we still see those temperatures below that triple digit mark while those overnight lows stay in those lower 70s. Stay tuned. More better break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.